Well, we just hopped off your screens and told you about the tornado threat, and not long after, a tornado warning has been issued from the National Weather Service in Tulsa. This is going to include Choctaw County. This warning will be in effect for the next about 20 minutes. These are going to be very quick warnings that we see, so we're not really expecting to be on air long form because of how brief these touchdowns are expected to be. So again, this is for Choctaw County. There's Hugo. Hugo is going to be downstream if the rotation continues. You see how the line here is starting to break up a little bit, becoming a little more isolated. They're still linear, don't get me wrong, but these cells themselves are looking a little more isolated. So that's actually going to ramp up the tornado potential for the rest of this morning. Again, this is going to include Choctaw County, State Highway 109A. The main area of circulation is just north of the Red River. We'll see how this storm interacts along the Red River, if it'll sink a little bit further south. Just a heads up, Lamar County, this could be heading your way. This is going to be just north of Pat Mays Lake here. So again, these tornadoes, what we're seeing today with the tornado potential is not necessarily long form, long track tornadoes. These are those brief QLCS spin ups that we've talked about time and time again. So again, hopefully this area of rotation will lift off and we won't have to worry about it too much longer. But as of right now, again, just southwest of Hugo, this storm is going to be moving through. If we could maybe pull up velocity here just really quick to see where the main area of circulation is. This is going to be from the National Weather Service in Tulsa. So yeah, unfortunately, we're in the part of Texoma where the radar data is not that great. We know generally it's usually not because of the radar gap and the hole. I would say right here, though, is probably what we're looking at, which is just coming out of Bryan County and going to be crossing over here onto the highway there. 109A is included. So if you know, maybe you're going to work a little bit later this morning and you know you got to travel that road, Indian Nation Turnpike is right here. I would maybe keep it parked here for a little bit. But right now, this is the only area of concern. We have seen over the course of the last half hour to an hour an uptick in small little circulations along the leading edge of the line. Now, if you're behind Choctaw County, so Atoka, Bryan, areas around I-35, tornado threat is not, yeah, I kind of expected that one. Lamar County going to go ahead and kind of fill the gap there with that warning in case it is kind of hugging the Red River. This is just coming out of Bryan County, so technically it may just be clipping that southeastern portion of Bryan County, but the main area of circulation is here right along the Red River. Again, this is heading mostly east and becoming a little bit more broken. Heavy rainfall for sure. So here's the thing. Today, flooding is a big concern. We've had heavy water, a lot of rainfall. So don't go out looking for a tornado. This is going to be rain wrapped if on the ground. You need to be inside in the far interior part of your home. If you have an apartment, maybe you know your downstairs neighbors. Give them a knock on the door if you know they're home and get inside. If you're not, say you're on the second floor or above, that's fine. Just get into the inner part of your apartment. Put things around you, protect your head, helmets, pillows, blankets, things like that. Put your shoes on. Make sure that you are prepared to go out and about after the storm if needed. If there is damage or anything like that, you don't want to be walking around without your shoes, without your shirt, your just protective gear that you might be needing heading out here. So this is going to include Pat Mays Lake. If you know any folks who are going to be out and about at Pat Mays Lake, or maybe they were already there doing some camping, let them know now. This tornado could be coming right for the area here. So we're caught in between two National Weather Service offices as far as that warning is concerned. No eyes confirmed on this tornado, but here's the thing. Because of the flooding threat today, we're more than likely not going to have a lot of eyes on these storms today because the flooding roads. I know roads are being closed all across Grayson County because of the flooding threat, and we have a lot of rain building in behind this main tornado warning. So we'll keep an eye on that moving forward. And again, with National Weather Service, they are saying that the circulation is just northwest of Sumner, moving northeast. And so, yeah, this is moving kind of east-northeast right here. This is going to be the cell that we're watching for. These are becoming a little more broken, so we'll need to keep an eye out. Kathy, if you could maybe try to zoom in a little bit, maybe we can get some road names. I know we're kind of far away from some of these counties, but maybe we can get some roads going here, or even some buildings here. This is Garrett's Bluff right here. That's where the main area of circulation is going to be. There's the Bluff Community Center, Pat Mays Lakes right here, Chakota, Arthur City. There's Grant, Oklahoma, Choctaw Casino, and Grant is included in that warning. So please be very, very careful there. If we want to move this just slightly to the north so we can see what school that is, there we go. Soper Public School is going to be included in that warning. Parents, do not freak out. Don't get on the roads and try to go get your kiddos. I'm sure the warning system is going off at the school there. You check in, give them a call, text them. But Soper Public School teachers, principals, those kiddos need to be in the hallway under their desks. I know in Oklahoma and Texas we practice tornado drills all the time. So yeah, time to execute those practices and put them into play here for your Wednesday morning. They are on the kind of far northern cusp of the main area of rotation, because here we are with the rotation. There's Soper Public School. So they're not technically, the tornado is not right there, but if this keeps lifting northeast, we could definitely see it move there, and that's going to be closer to 271. Hugo is right here. There's Grant. Arthur City is going to be on the far eastern edge of that warning there. If we pull up velocity, maybe trying to see here, it's so messy, and these areas of rotation aren't really going to be screaming at us per se because of how brief and quick they're going to be, but this is going to be right around State Highway 109A. There's Highway 70. There's Soper High School heading right towards Garrett's Bluff. There's Garrett's Bluff there. This warning again goes until 11:15. So we've got about another 14 minutes on that warning. The circulation, according to the National Weather Service, is moving straight for Pat Mays Lake, and Arthur City may be next in line there. So this is kind of wonky. This area of rotation is going to ride the Red River more than likely. There's Razor, Texas. There's Pat Mays Lake. I do think the main area of circulation is going to be just north. It may just barely clip Pat Mays Lake, but depending on the track that takes, it's moving mostly east and northeast. If we want to move this a little bit further south, I'm trying to get my bearings here to see where Paris is in relation to, I think Paris is, Paris is not in the warning. So Paris, Texas, because I know Lamar County, usually when a county warning goes off, it alerts everybody in the county. Paris, Texas is okay right now. This is mainly going to be in the northwestern edge of Lamar County and the southwestern edge of Choctaw County. But yeah, you can see it's starting to broaden out a little bit. We'll see what they end up doing with this over the next few minutes if they continue to downstream it, because I mean there's definitely something there as far as rotation, whether it's on the ground or not. Something is spinning in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So at the very least, we may have a rotating wall cloud there on the cusp of Lamar and Choctaw County. Again, this is going to be coming from the National Weather Service in Tulsa. They say the circulation mostly, this was just a couple minutes ago, has remained south of the Red River, taking more of an eastward movement. So they're going to trim that tornado warning for Choctaw County just slightly. I'm not sure if they've already done that. It says they may end up canceling the warning if they does not take more of a northern turn. So they may pass this over to the National Weather Service in Fort Worth, but at the very least, we'll more than likely see Lamar County hold on to that warning. And it honestly would surprise me if Choctaw County did end up, or if the National Weather Service ended up canceling that for Choctaw County, because I mean, it still looks like there may be some rotation in the Choctaw County area around State Highway 109A there. If we want to pull up, Kathy, some shear, it's kind of wonky too. Our shear rate hasn't looked great. Yeah, it's not really showing much. We can go back to, if we want to zoom out and show Texoma as a whole here, there's that trimming. It doesn't look like much has changed with that warning. Maybe just a little bit further south. Either way, we're going to look at the big picture here. We don't want to forget about our friends in Pittsburgh County. A severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible. That includes part of McAllister, probably about half the city there, and that's going to track over into Latimer County. We've seen these little spin-ups. This is the area of concern for right now. We may have another round this afternoon. What's taking place is a boundary is moving through, cold front moving through. That's what's bringing us these storms. Now, if that front stalls, which we kind of anticipate it to, then this more than likely is going to lead to threats most of today. Flooding threat is going nowhere today. We're going to hold on to that flooding threat. We had radar estimated rainfall rates from 4 to 6 inches of rain. Even some were suggesting close to 7 inches of rain in an hour. We've already had reports across Grayson County you can see these warnings here going off near Ada, Pauls Valley, Grayson County. Those are flood warnings. These here further towards along the leading edge, Pittsburgh, Choctaw, Lamar County are going to be severe thunderstorm warnings with tornado possible. And we do have that tornado warning for Choctaw County. You see how this is you can kind of see a little bit of the spin with this one on the southern edge. There may be even a little bit of spin. This one just south of Antlers. Just a heads up, Antlers, you're not in any warning right now, but I would say it wouldn't hurt to get in your storm safe places. So let's zoom back into this kind of 2-for-1 tornado warning we have with Lamar and Choctaw County. Again, Hugo is in the clear for now. Notice here, maybe a little bit of an inflow notch. I don't know, some rotation here for sure, but I really think it's kind of just hugging right now the Red River. It's right in between both counties here. So we'll see how the river may be impacting that, but we're hoping to maybe get some stabilization there. There's State Highway 109A. I don't know, Brendan, if we have Kathy mic'd. I don't know. Kathy is mic'd. Do you have any updates or anything, Kathy, that you've seen or anything notable on radar?
We do have reports that emergency management from Lamar County has sent out spotters to the area to see if there's anything going on with eyes on the ground. So that's certainly going to be beneficial there. As far as the latest, we do have the continued tornado warning for far southwestern parts of Choctaw County and far northwestern parts of Lamar County. These storms, we're watching the area of circulation. It's moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. Just kind of zooming in on exactly where it is right now over the Bluff Community Center, Garrett's Bluff. So we're watching for areas north and east of there. So Soper Public Schools definitely want to be taking the tornado precautions right now. Also, Goodland Academy looks to be in the line of sight of this storm as well. Pretty much that area of rotation now just northwest of Pat Mays Lake.
Okay, yeah, so this, looking at the National Weather Service in Tulsa, they have decided they are going to hold on to that tornado warning, at least through the entirety of the warning, which is through 11:15. Again, yeah, like Kathy said, it looks like that now includes, or maybe it always did, but didn't see the name pop up there, Goodland Academy. That is just southwest of Hugo. But yeah, that's kind of teeters back and forth across the Red River, and they are saying there are signs of quick, brief rotations right now, but they don't plan on adding another tornado warning along this leading edge like for Pittsburgh County or Pushmataha County, but they are going to start to issue severe thunderstorm warnings with a tornado possible tag on them. These are going to happen so quick. So if you have a severe thunderstorm warning at this rate, treat it like a tornado warning, because who knows, by the time that warning is issued, this can happen so fast, there could already be a tornado on the ground. So cover your bases. If you're along the leading edge, which that ranges from Lamar, Choctaw, Pushmataha, Pittsburgh County, and McCurtain County, although McCurtain County, I think you have a little bit of time before the line of thunderstorms get to your area. This is going to be coming your way downstream. I mean, within the next 30 minutes to an hour, depending on if this stalls, though. So if we move this a little, and yeah, this storm now looks like it's mostly going to be in Choctaw County. Kathy, we could get velocity one more time, and then we'll try to go head on over to Pittsburgh County to get an update on those warnings. Yeah, I would say the main area of circulation, I don't know, to me, personally looks more in Choctaw rather than Lamar County, but not to say that even if you're in Lamar County, you still need to stay put. Stay where you are, stay in your storm safe shelter. Soper Public School, you need to be in your spot here. That's going to be coming your way soon. It's very broad, but not to say it can't be on the ground. We'll see if Lamar County spotters have anything to report back once they get out there, but we have to keep in mind how much rain is falling with these storms. These are going to be rain wrapped. It's going to be very hard to really see anything that's on the ground, and with how quick they're coming down and pulling back up, it's just going to make it that much harder. So I have a hard time thinking we're going to actually get some ground truth on some of these storms for the time being. Now, maybe if storm spotters are ahead of it looking towards the west, they may have a better idea there. Looks like they did add a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag for the remainder of that warning area here for Hugo Lake. That will include Hugo. So if you're within this warning, this will also extend into Pushmataha County. Get into your storm safe spots now, because there's a possibility that tornadoes could drop down at any moment there. This will include the city of Antlers. Winds up to about 60 miles an hour. Quarter-size hail going to be possible, I believe. With that, Kathy, do you have any specs on this severe thunderstorm warning? If not, that's okay. We're going to be watching, looks like maybe a little bit of spin. Y'all see that?
So the warning goes for western Pushmataha County and Choctaw County until noon. Right now, the storm is moving north at 35 miles per hour. They're mainly watching the wind gusts with this 60 mile per hour wind gust. Radar indicated of that. Expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees.
Okay. Yep. So basically, if you're within this warning, just get inside if you can. I see a little bit of spin around Antlers, around 271 there. There's Indian Nation Turnpike. There's Hugo Lake. Included in the warning, but right now, if anything is spinning, it's not currently over Hugo Lake. But let's see. It is now 11:10. We have 5 minutes left on this tornado warning before it is expired here. We'll, of course, hold on to that just in case. But if we want to start discussing what we want to do as far as the midday show, because we are in what is normally our KTEN News midday show here at 11, being taken over by the active day of weather that we have. Let's zoom out a little bit and get a look and check in on our friends in Pittsburgh County here. Yeah, these are severe thunderstorm warnings as well, with the chance for a few brief rotations. You can kind of just see the spin there. It's just so subtle, but there's definitely some signs of spinning there. And that is going to be those QLCS tornadoes. Or if you want to know what does that mean, QLCS, that is quasi-linear convective system. It is a very fancy way to say a line of thunderstorms moving through the area. And normally with the QLCS, these tornadoes are very brief. When we have those isolated supercells, those are normally what produce the very strong, long track, potentially violent tornadoes. And today our tornado risk is actually highest around Choctaw County and areas south like Lamar and Fannin County. So this is lining up exactly to where the risk area was, that level 3 out of 5. If you're watching Good Morning Texoma, that is where the highest risk area was for today, and that's going to be moving east to northeast here over the next, several hours at this point. These storms, they're not necessarily moving fast, but they're also not moving slow. They kind of go back and forth, and it looks like, so I still think there's a little bit of spin with that severe thunderstorm warning for Pushmataha and the rest of Choctaw County. But again, that tornado warning, we'll see what Lamar County decides to do. I think the main area of circulation, if it's still present, is going to be, at this point, anytime soon, outrunning the actual tornado warning. But that is exactly why the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag just downstream to kind of cover our bases here. Let's zoom out. Let's talk about flooding a little bit in Grayson County. I know there's a flood warning there. We've had rainfall estimates of, 4 to 6 inches an hour. We're going to, obviously, we can't check our rain gauge while it's actively storming outside, but it'll be interesting to see. I know some Oklahomans today have seen anywhere from 3 to 4 inches of rain already, and you can see we're not done. After the leading edge moves out, we are dealing with more moderate to heavy rainfall behind it. So looks like Kathy is showing us some rainfall rates here, close to 3 inches in an hour. And in the grand scheme of things, you may not think that's a lot of rainfall, but it really is, especially when it all pools together and collects. That 3 inches of water can easily collect together and become a huge issue for roads. They could be washed out. There could be running water, and that could sweep away vehicles. It takes 6 inches of water to sweep away a person. It takes anywhere from 6 to 12 inches to sweep away a small car. The smaller the car, the lower to the ground, the easier it's going to be swept away from these high flood waters that we'll be dealing with most of today, especially while the storms are actively going. Especially you see the reds and the purples. Those are going to be the main areas of concern here over the next several hours. So continuing with this tornado warning for Choctaw and Lamar County, no word from Lamar County at this point. Looks like We are waiting for word as far as an update on the main area of rotation. National Weather Service in Tulsa looks like they have decided to expire the tornado warning there for Tulsa. So Choctaw County, your tornado warning is done for now. It's still showing up in our system. Our system likes to keep the warning there until the original expiration time, which is 11:15. That should be here shortly. I'm interested to see, I think the Lamar County tornado warning also goes until 11:15. So we'll stay on here for another minute just to see how this trends. Regardless, we're still going to keep tabs because, I mean, the environment ahead. Remember yesterday we were saying if we had a lot of rainfall around midnight, widespread rain, which data was showing we should have widespread rain around midnight, and then this wave was going to move in closer to 8 a.m. Well, this definitely moved in at 8 a.m. What didn't happen was the widespread rain late last night. We did have some storms, don't get me wrong, but we didn't have the widespread action. So areas that didn't get rain yesterday have a lot of energy to tap into. It's been so warm. You can feel it in the atmosphere. It just feels like storms are brewing. So that is why we're watching the tornado potential ramp up. We didn't have too many issues with tornadoes earlier this morning. And yeah, it looks like they are going to continue that tornado warning for Lamar County. They've trimmed it back. Pat Mays Lake is still going to be included in that main area of rotation. This here, secondary one south of the original tornado warning, may have a little bit of rotation with it, some heavy rainfall. But hey, if this is rotating near Pat Mays Lake, this is moving more east-northeast. This is going to be coming back into Choctaw County, more than likely clipping Hugo. But anyway, Hugo is going to be dealing with that core of the storm here in the next few minutes, if not already. There's Hugo Lake. There's Highway 93. There's 271. Indian Nation Turnpike there. So far, no eyes confirmed on this storm just yet, but we are waiting to see what the National Weather Service in Fort Worth wants to say. It looks like they are going to continue that tornado warning until 11:30. Again, no ground truth on that tornado, but it doesn't mean that it's not there, especially with all the rainfall. I do imagine we're going to have a hard time seeing this. So if you're just joining us for KTEN News Midday, hello. We are taking over for the weather here. Tornado warning ongoing for Lamar County. Severe thunderstorm warnings for Choctaw, Pushmataha, and Pittsburgh County with a tornado possible tag there. We've been seeing really consistent signs of rotation with the leading edge. It's crazy. You can literally see as it crossed through I-35, we had strong winds. We had bowing segments, the bowing out of a line of thunderstorms. We really didn't have a lot of tornado potential. That's why we had a severe thunderstorm watch rather than a tornado watch. But then once the severe thunderstorm watch expired just before 10 a.m., tornado watch took over, and I mean, like clockwork, we are dealing with ongoing warnings. So we're thankful that a watch was issued to give us a little bit of lead time here for the possibility of rotation, given it's a Wednesday and people are out and about. People are at work. People are running errands. So if you know friends and family who are out and about around this time in Lamar County, around Pat Mays Lake, give them a call, check in, even if they're in Hugo area. That main core of the storm, it looks like it's spreading back out. You see how these storms are starting to connect here, and it may be hard to tell. Maybe they aren't because 271's right there, but I think these are trying to start to connect once again. We'll see how that does for the rotation possibility here. We'll zoom out. Let's see back into Pittsburgh County. I think the storms are mostly, they're mostly out of Pittsburgh County now, at least the main areas of rotation. They're going to be coming out of Pittsburgh County and moving into Latimer County here shortly, within the next half hour for sure. But a very small, Kathy, if you can put velocity for me and maybe zoom into Lamar County. Just trying to see if we can see anything. It was so messy. I honestly don't see any area of rotation. Again, radar coverage here is not the greatest, so it's going to be hard to see regardless. But this still includes Arthur City, Chakota, Pat Mays Lake. There's Razor, Texas there. And if this continues, this will go back into the Growling Pines Tiger Reserve, I believe, and there's Grant, Oklahoma. Choctaw Casino in Grant, Oklahoma is there, so be careful if you have maybe family in town visiting at the casino. Give them a holler. Honestly, you want to be in a space where you're going to be away from windows, so honestly the casino may be the best place. If you're in Grant, Oklahoma, there's no windows. That's kind of the goal here. We want to get into the far interior part of your home. I know you've heard us say this time and time again, but it's very easy, especially with storm anxiety, to kind of forget what do I do during a storm? You kind of get into panic mode, but that's why we're on your screens. We're here to keep you calm. There's no need to panic. Get into your storm safe places. We've done this before. We've seen it before. This is going to be moving out of Lamar County into Choctaw County. We are going to get through this day. We have a tornado watch through 5 o'clock. We are going to guide you through it. So we're going to be that voice of reason for you. That tornado warning. Kathy, you have an update?
From Lamar County, from the National Weather Service, they're saying the circulation will track very, very near to mid-city. The circulation is still moving northeast, but they're expecting it to be very, very near to mid-city. Mid-city,
and that's in Lamar County?
Lamar County, correct.
Okay, so that's what we're looking at. It's so hard. There's Pat Mays Lake, Dakota. There's Arthur City. So it's going to be somewhere within maybe here, that far north eastern edge of the storm. There's 271. There's Powderly not included in that warning there. Maybe here. It's hard to tell. What we're looking for, if you're wondering, okay, what are you talking about? All I see is reds and greens and blues. What we're looking for is the combination of colors, or even the brightening of colors. That is a sign of strong wind or rotation. When they start to come together, the reds and the greens, that's a sign that we are seeing some rotation. I don't see anything screaming at me other than the very bright colors, some strong winds there. But again, we are far away from radar, and the National Weather Service is going to continue with this warning. So yeah, mid-city and moving towards the northeast. So this is going to be moving out of Lamar County into Choctaw County again. Choctaw County, National Weather Service in Tulsa hasn't said anything about downstream warning the tornado. That's kind of why they have the tornado, or excuse me, the tornado possible tag within that severe thunderstorm warning. And there's little baby areas of rotation just west of Indian Nation Turnpike, going to be crossing over Indian Nation Turnpike. So we may have some brief spin-ups there around 271 in Choctaw and moving into Pushmataha County there. So it looks like, also speaking of mid-city, where the area of circulation is tracking very close to, there is significant rainfall and even some pea-sized hail. So that kind of confirms our thinking of, well, if anything happens, we are more than likely going to be dealing with a rain wrap situation where you can't put eyes on it. So don't go out looking for it. So if you are in Lamar County and Choctaw County, just be in your storm safe spots. Interior part of your home, ideally a storm cellar or a basement. Some people don't have those. I know I personally don't have one, so you're going to want to get into the lower levels of your home if you have a two-story home, or if you live in an apartment. You can't get to the lower level. Maybe there's no clubhouse. Don't go out running looking for the clubhouse in the storm by any means. Stay where you are. Now's not the time to leave your home to seek a safe spot. That would have been about an hour ago when the tornado watch was issued. Now's not the time. Stay put. That you're going to be safer staying put than you are going to be traveling out into the storm. Definitely some strong winds around Hugo Lake area. We'll keep an eye on that from any damage reports. We haven't had any damage reports so far today, other than the high waters and the flooding over roads. The tornado warning for Pat Mays Lake will go until 11:30, so about another 8 minutes on this. We'll see how that trends here in the next few minutes, and if Choctaw County extends it. Kathy, is there any way you could see what time this severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag, what time that is expired? We'll see what that timing is looking like. And again, that means we have about another 8 minutes before we are done with the tornado warning, given they don't extend this downstream. So we'll need to make a plan from the next 5-6 minutes and figure out what we're going to do for KTEN News Midday. That would restart at the 11:30 hour, more than likely. So we'll let you know what we plan to do with that, but we'll stay on as long as we need to. If we need to cover weather for 15 minutes after the warning, we will do so as well. Tornado possible within Antlers, Hugo. This is right over Indian Nation Turnpike there, that highway. And there's Highway 70. This is going to be tracking into McCurtain County shortly. So yeah, we're watching it. It looks like the main storm is now out of the warning area for Lamar County. So they may have canceled, or may be thinking about canceling it here shortly, because the main core is now out of the county, but heading into Choctaw County, now just south of Hugo. These are becoming a little bit more messy. The signs of rotation, if you can see what I'm seeing here just around Antlers, you see how it just quickly, for a second, starts to spin, but now these are kind of colliding together, and that may be cutting off some of the circulation possibilities for the near future. And it looks like in addition to that, we are going to be looking at that tornado watch. I think there has been an update from the National Weather Service in Tulsa. Looks like they've just continued the watch for Pushmataha, Pittsburgh, and Choctaw County. So it looks like they just extended the tornado watch to cover more counties in Oklahoma, not our viewing area. We're still under tornado watch. Pittsburgh, Choctaw, Pushmataha, Lamar, and McCurtain County until 5 o'clock this evening. So we'll keep tabs on that. Kathy, any update?
Just to go over this severe thunderstorm warning affecting western parts of Pushmataha County right now and pretty much all of Choctaw County. This line, you can see it's just now the heaviest part of the storm, just now east of the Indian Nation Turnpike there, stretching from Antlers down through Hugo. Primarily watching very heavy rainfall with this storm. It's moving east at about 40 miles per hour. Some wind gusts could be upwards of about 60 miles per hour, hence the severe thunderstorm warning, but they also they continue with the possibility of a tornado because of these little embedded notches that we're seeing within the line that could create that little fast spin up, as you mentioned.
Yes, so we're going to be watching that potential off and on all morning long, essentially. We're hoping at some point the threat will drop off. Of course, we know eventually it has to. The threat west of this area, so around I-35, no tornado threat for you at this time. Of course, if anything new develops later this afternoon, we'll need to keep an eye on it. So it looks like the National Weather Service in Fort Worth has allowed the tornado warning to expire a few minutes early for us here in Lamar County, but we'll stay on. Looks like heavy rainfall and around Highway 271 just north of FM 906, that is in Lamar County. So 271 north, just north of FM 906. Winds up to 60 miles an hour have been reported in addition to heavy rainfall. Still no eyes on that possible rotation, but it doesn't look like we're really seeing much in regard to rotation at this time for Lamar and Choctaw County. But that's why they have that tornado possible tag in case this changes, because it can happen very, very quickly in the matter of no time. I mean, we've seen these areas of rotation touch down, pick back up, touch down. So just because it's lifted right now doesn't mean it'll stay that way. So I would remain alert in Lamar, Choctaw, and McCurtain County. Obviously, you've got a ways away before these storms are in your area, but you are also under that tornado watch until 5 o'clock today. So as far as that, no damage reported, which is what we like to see. We, although have radar indicated signs of rotation, does not necessarily mean there was one on the ground. So that's obviously what we're rooting for, especially after the couple of weeks that we have had. I know earlier this season, the same kind of area, Lamar County, Red River County, McCurtain County, were very busy with tornado warnings. Let's zoom out and try to get a big picture at the whole area here and kind of just see what we're dealing with. It looks like for most it is just kind of a bunch of rainfall behind the main line, but this is the main area of concern right now. Seeing kind of some bowing out here. That is coming out of Pittsburgh County, though. That would mostly impact the northern edge of Pushmataha and Latimer County there. So no active tornado warnings at this time. There is a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag that will be for Pittsburgh. That's around the whole edge, the whole line of storms here from Lamar County. Well, I guess Lamar County technically doesn't have a severe thunderstorm warning. They have the tornado warning, but from Hugo all the way up to Pushmataha County, Latimer County, these are going to be warned for the possibility of a tornado. Winds could reach up to 60 miles an hour. The good news is we haven't had a lot of hail with these storms, at least not that we've seen. We've had pea-sized hail reported in Lamar County with that storm, but overall, the large hail threat has not really come into fruition here the last couple of days. So we're going to keep tabs on that going forward. And just as long as we're in the tornado watch, we are going to keep tabs on these storms, but we'll see how they trend over the next several hours here. Kathy, is there any update from the National Weather Service or any radar updates? We'll go ahead and get those, but I'm not really seeing a whole lot as far as reports with damage. And we're just honestly at this point, most of our reports that are coming in are going to be flooding concerns. We have had a lot of rainfall. I mean, we were looking at rainfall totals for the month of April, and there are portions of Oklahoma that have seen now probably over 13 inches of rainfall. And the normal levels of rain, the normal rainfall total is anywhere from 2 to 3 inches. So we have surpassed that. Lake levels are rising, creeks, rivers. You just need to be very careful. I know many of our creeks tend to flood very easily, especially around the Atoka area. Boggy Creek, I believe, is one of the ones. Caney Creek is one of the ones I see often that floods, so we'll need to watch that into the rest of today, really, because the rain is still ongoing behind the main line. So even though it may not be severe in some parts, most parts are in the clear for severe weather and tornadoes, but everybody is in that flood watch, at least until later tonight. And again, no word on any confirmed damage here from the National Weather Service, but the tornado warning is now done for Lamar County. I know the box is still on your screen, but they did expire it early. We have about a minute left before that red box is off of your screen. But the severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag continues for Hugo, Antlers, kind of the east side of McAllister, 270 Indian Nation Turnpike. There's Highway 70. This is going to be closing in on McCurtain County. So, hey, to our people who may have friends or family, or maybe you yourself are here in town visiting Broken Bow, the cabins there, Hochatown, be very careful. These storms are going to be coming your way. And although not yet in your area, I mean, it's not going to take too much longer before these are in. These are going to now be on the eastern side of Choctaw County, kind of slowing down a little bit and falling apart in Pushmataha County. So the boundary may be kind of trying to stall out. That wherever stalls is going to be where the potential for storms will be for the afternoon and evening time frame today. So with guys, production, Brendan Adams, I don't know what we want to do with the midday for the rest of the half hour. We don't have any tornado warnings for the rest of today. So we're going to be tossing to break and start the midday, or we want to toss to break and start to midday. Okay, so one more time, severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible. Choctaw, Pushmataha, and that will also include Latimer and the very far eastern edge of Pittsburgh County. Does no longer include McAllister. They are in the clear for tornado potential right now. Tornado watch through 5 o'clock, so we're going to be tracking these very close over the next few hours. Going to get you to break, and we'll start KTEN News Midday in just a little bit. For Pushmataha County, this is going to include the city of Cloudy, Oklahoma. This is just east of Antlers. So Antlers, this warning is not going to be for you, but tornado warning right now for Pushmataha County. And you'll notice they did go severe thunderstorm warning for the entire county of McCurtain ahead of that main line. So right now, this tornado warning will be in effect until lunchtime. So about noon, we have about 20 minutes. That's the thing with these warnings today, is they are going to be more of those short, quick warnings, not necessarily those 45-minute to an hour warnings that we see on days where we're dealing with more of those supercell-like tornadoes. These are those QLCS scenarios that we're looking at over the next couple of hours. We're going to be watching this close because we could definitely have this tornado potential last through the afternoon and evening time. We have a tornado watch through at least 5 o'clock today, so we're going to keep tabs on that because, I mean, this line has had signs and a history of producing quick spin-ups. Now, we haven't had any ground truth, so we haven't had any storm spotters saying there is a tornado on the ground just yet. But that doesn't mean that there aren't any that are on the ground. So we're going to keep a close watch of this. Heavy rainfall is also going to be a big, huge factor today in the fact that you're not really going to see much when it comes to those tornado warnings today and the possible tornadoes on the ground. So with that being said, the heavy rainfall continues for a lot of us. That tornado warning, so zooming in here, is going to be for Cloudy, Oklahoma. There's snow, Oklahoma right now. Looking in at some of these street names, looks like this is going to include Rattan High School. I believe I'm saying that right. That one always kind of trips me up, so I apologize if I'm not saying the right thing there. But Rattan High School, this is also going to include Oleta. Don't shoot the messenger here. I'm just kind of walking you through here. State Highway 147. This is Aussie Cobb Lake there. There's Cloudy and the Cloudy Lookout Tower there. There's Jay's Cabin, Pine Creek Hideaway Cabins, and RV Resort. And then also McCurtain County will likely be downstream. But this is the area of rotation right here, right over Aussie Cobb Lake. This is heading northeast, right for Cloudy, Oklahoma. If we want to put velocity here, we can maybe get a better idea of where the area of rotation is. It's right here, right over Rattan High School. This is right over the high school. If this is on the ground. So just a heads up, this is why that severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag was issued, because if you're in a severe thunderstorm warning right now, you need to go ahead and treat it like a tornado warning because these are dropping down so fast. You're going to have seemingly it's going to feel like little to no time for warning, but that's why the watch has been issued, because the watch is issued so that you can prepare, right? That's when you start taking action. That's when you start, well, not necessarily taking action, but preparing, know where to go, you're planning, and then once that warning is issued, which could happen in the matter of minutes, seconds even, that's when you execute those plans. But you need to make sure you are where you are going to be for the possibility of a tornado right now, even if there's no warning for your area. So at the very least, man, we are seeing some high wind speeds right there just in Pushmataha County. There's Findlay, Oklahoma. There's snow. This is going to just miss snow, I believe. This is moving northeast and very high wind speeds. You see these bright colors here? That's velocity returns with high wind speeds. So regardless if this is on the ground, we are getting some strong wind gusts out of this. I would say probably closer to 60, maybe even 70-mile-an-hour winds possible with that warning for Pushmataha County. And again, this is moving northeast. So if this keeps on the track it is, we're more than likely not going to be seeing this head into McCurtain County. McCurtain County, you are going to get storms. There will be a tornado potential, but this specific area of rotation right now is mainly moving northeast. It may miss the northwestern edge or just clip the northwestern edge of McCurtain County there. So we'll keep an eye on it regardless. Really, really strong winds with this storm there. And we may even have a secondary round or secondary area of circulation just northwest of that, south of Eubanks. There's Kiamichi right there, the volunteer fire department there in Pushmataha County, just north of Antlers and Kellen there. There's Moyers, Eubanks. They're included in a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag. So yeah, we're going to keep a very close watch on that one over the next, I would say this is probably the better one we've had all day long as far as rotation is concerned. It is looking very clear, a little more clear than it has in the past here. So National Weather Service in Tulsa has issued that warning for Pushmataha County. Again, we are under a tornado watch through at least 5 p.m. today. So this tornado warning will go until about, let's see here, to noon, so about 12 o'clock today. So in addition to the possibility of a tornado, winds could reach up to 60 miles an hour. This is moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. So if we want to zoom out maybe just slightly, Kathy, and we could maybe put a track on there. I'll give you a little bit to get that figured out. This is moving at 35 miles an hour. So if you want to update the speed on that, no rush on that. But I think this here, there's definitely another area of rotation. It may be very weak, but this is right around Findlay and Red's campground there. This is going to be northeast of Antlers, Oklahoma, and Pushmataha County. This is primarily east of Indian Nation Turnpike. So those on the road, if you're listening to this and you're getting updates and you're on Indian Nation Turnpike, there's no area of rotation there. I think the main line has surpassed that. But yeah, looking, this is the cone here, the track out here. It looks like it'll be, there's not a lot of areas here in Pushmataha County. We're hitting very rural lands. So this is going to hit around the Cloudy Lookout Tower at 11:59. So the timeline, again, we don't have a lot of cities populating on our map because of where we are here and as far as geography is concerned. But yeah, this is moving northeast. And I definitely think there's a secondary area of rotation right there, just west of Snow. If you're in Snow, Oklahoma, you may technically not be included in the tornado warning, but you are included in the tornado possible tag, severe thunderstorm warning. I think there's two. There's definitely two. You can see a little bit of that spin there. I'm going to step off camera, see if we can't pull up the Durant radar and see what that's looking like. We talk about the radar hole here very, very often and how it can make it so tricky to see low-level rotation, because here's the thing, we can pick up high-level, upper-level rotation in our sleep with these radars because the beam, how it works. Why does radar where it is? Why are we in a hole? What are you talking about? So radar beams, they go up and out. So the further away you are from radar, the higher up the scans are, which means you can't really see low to the ground. When we're dealing with a tornado, what are we looking for? We're looking for rotation on the ground. By definition, it's not a tornado unless it has made contact with the ground. So that's why it's so hard, because our closest radars, now we have Durant radar, which is very helpful, but we have Oklahoma City and we have Fort Worth. So we are far away enough to where it's harder to see the lower level scans, but we definitely have upper level rotation right here, just west of Cloudy. This is going to move into Cloudy, Oklahoma here in the next few minutes. This is Neshoba there. 271 is right here, kind of getting our bearings. Sardis Lake is right there. There's starting to be maybe some messy broad rotation there. I'm not really seeing a whole lot. Maybe right there. These are what we're talking about. These are very subtle things in the radar velocity that we're looking out for today, because they are going to be so quick and so brief. And that severe thunderstorm warning for McCurtain County right now is not tornado possible tagged, but could very easily be depending on the trajectory of these storms. Right now, these are taking more of a northeast track towards 271. There's State Highway 2 there, just west of Snow. I still think there are two areas of circulation there from Snow into Cloudy, Oklahoma. So tornado warning goes for another 12 minutes here. Again, these are going to be very quick spin ups. No ground truth just yet, but it doesn't mean it's not on the ground. I'm not seeing a whole lot from the Durant radar. I'm seeing a little bit there. Definitely some signs of lower level rotation. So this could very easily be on the ground, or at least nearing the ground here. National Weather Service in Tulsa hasn't really confirmed anything just yet, so we'll wait and see. I know they've said there is a circulation just southwest of Latimer County. That might be this right here, Sardis Lake area, or might have already crossed over into Latimer County. Not seeing a whole lot, but really, this is the best anything has looked all day long. West of Cloudy, Oklahoma, and not looking as good, but there's definitely some spin west of Snow. This is heading right for Snow, Oklahoma right now. So if you have friends and family in the area, please make sure that they know what is potentially coming their way there. So Christine, are you mic'd up?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so production, let me know when we have her mic on. I'm going to have Christine go over some of the warnings, the tornado warning, maybe even the flood warnings and the severe warnings, just kind of walk you through step by step here. We'll start with the tornado warning, obviously, so go ahead with that, Christine, and we'll get an update.
Okay, so this tornado warning is for Pushmataha County, just east of the Indian Nation Turnpike, just east of Antlers. To give you guys some of the towns around this warning. Cloudy, you're right overhead, or this storm is right over you, or at least heading straight toward you. It's moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour, headed towards Neshoba there, and it's just to the southeast of Snow. There's some lightning in there too, definitely some lower level circulation. This is radar indicated. It's not confirmed at this time, which is good news, but still need to treat it like a confirmed tornado. Get to your safe spot. This expires at noon. And then there's also some severe thunderstorm warnings around this cell that have a potential a tornado possible tag with that. So we're going to be watching this whole line as it moves east and northeast through Pushmataha County and eventually through McCurtain County as well, because this whole line has the potential to have tornado threat for sure. And then of course, along with the tornado threat and the high winds and the hail threat, which isn't really a big deal right now with this line. It's more of a tornado threat and wind threat. We also have that flash flooding threat for Grayson County, for Cook County. A lot of road closures around Grayson County too. That is due to all of the rain that we have just gotten since last night through this morning. This is pretty much has been nonstop today. With Gainesville being in that flash flood warning there, I can query this too to kind of get some more information from this, but Sherman and Denison included in it. And let's try that again.
And just, sorry, go ahead, Christine.
No, I was just going to say this is a flash flood warning, goes until 1:15 this afternoon for Cook, Grayson, and Montague County, and it's something to be taken seriously. We're getting 1 to 2 inches of rain in a very short amount of time, so that's the update.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Yeah, I know the flooding threat. I know we're getting reports out of Fannin County of hydroplaning on Highway 82 there. So again, if you don't have to get on the road, please don't. And at least over 1,000 people without power in Fannin County there. So that's what we'll keep an eye out, because even long after the tornado threat is done, the flooding threat is going to kind of hold tight with us for the next few hours. We have a tornado watch until 5 o'clock this evening. So if we'll go back to that tornado warning in Pushmataha County. when we get a second. I know there's a lot going on today. We have been busy the last several weeks, to say the least. That is for sure. It's been a busy stretch, but we're here to get you through it. And looks like that severe thunderstorm warning, I think these are kind of crossing each other. I think the tornado possibles for the rest of Pushmataha County and the McCurtain County warning is simply a severe thunderstorm warning, but I could easily see them adding a tornado possible tag just in case, given the nature of today with that quick brief spin up potential. It's just kind of lead time. So I would say treat severe thunderstorm warnings as you would a tornado warning, especially on a day like today. So if you are, what happens? I'm in a tornado warning. What do I do? Get into the inside. You don't want to run outside. You don't want to flee. You don't want to look for somewhere to go and drive somewhere to go, especially with the rain the way it is. Wherever you are, find the best, most safe spot. Put as many walls between you and the outside. Find ways to protect yourself. You know, helmets. Do you have a bike helmet? Do you have maybe a construction hat? Even if it's a toy hat laying around, something to protect your head. Blankets, pillows, mattresses. Get in your bathroom, anywhere that's not covered in windows. That's the best place to be. You're in an apartment. What do I do? I'm in an apartment. What lower level can I get to? If you maybe know your downstairs neighbors, if the storm is there, don't go out now. Get into the far interior part of your apartment, whether it be a closet or the bathroom or even the hallway. You're going to be okay, even if you are finding yourselves in maybe a multi-level story building or apartment complex. But yeah, the main circulation right now is just south of Snow. I still think there's something there, while broad, going to be impacting Snow, Oklahoma. So yeah, Christina's circling this for us. It's right here, what we're looking at. See the reds and the greens coming together? That's called a velocity couplet. It's not super tight. It's rather broad, but the colors are pretty bright. If we want to take off the warning, Christina, we may be far away from the radar, so I don't know if it'll actually query sometimes when I try to this far away from radar. So at least I would say 60-mile-an-hour winds, 55, 57, 58. Now there's some strong winds at the very least. So even if it's not rotating, which there are signs of rotation, at the very least, straight line wind damage could be possible within that tornado warning. So yeah, we're looking at, I would say, anywhere from 45 to 60-mile-an-hour winds there within that warning. We can turn the warning back on. And maybe, Christine, if you want to zoom in and read some of the street names there. I know sometimes when we're out this far, there's not that many street names to be told, but we can list some of those off here for some of those folks.
Yeah, there's Ratton Trail, or Trail, which is right over that, or right under that circulation. And then just to the east of that, okay, Ratton Trail, Tram Trail. And then let's see if we can get some out ahead of it. Okay, seeing a lot of Ratton Trail. One Creek Road, Patton Trail, or Ratton Trail. Okay, I cannot, either R or P, can't see that, but yeah, One Creek, really small. Yeah. Okay, One Creek Road, North One Creek Trail. This is out ahead of that circulation. And then let's get up further ahead of it, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, some of these are really rural areas and back roads that maybe some of them don't even have names there. But yeah, Rattan Trail is going to be included in that warning. That is a street there. Looks like Cloudy Neshoba Trail there. There's Cloudy Lookout Tower. This is a little bit away from the main area of circulation, which is now right over Cloudy, Oklahoma. We have about 4 more minutes on this warning. Trying to see with the National Weather Service if they're planning to extend this. It says maybe nope, no update on if they are going to, downstream warn this, but that's why those severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible tags are there. It's kind of cover our bases. So that's why I'm saying if it's a tornado or if it's a severe thunderstorm warning, act like it's a tornado warning. What could it hurt? You're better safe than sorry today. So yeah, this is for Pushmataha County again. If you are just joining us, we kind of blew out our midday show with a weather takeover today because of the tornado threat today. That main area of circulation, there's Rattan Trail, One Creek Road, East 1931 Road. There's Cloudy, Oklahoma. There's the Cloudy Neshoba Trail. And latest scans, I mean, it's not screaming at me, but there's definitely something there. There's definitely something there, at the very least, some baseline, broad, upper level rotation. And let's maybe zoom out to see. I just want to make sure we're not missing. It honestly looked a little bit better as it crossed through a little bit further west. It's so hard to see what we're dealing with here, but it looks like Does that include Pittsburgh County? I don't think it does, but let's just, okay. No, tornado warning is just west of Pittsburgh County there. So thankfully it held off after it moved out of Pittsburgh County. Right now, the main area is looking a lot more messy, which we'll see what that means for us moving forward. There may be some general broad circulation in Latimer County right now, but right now our main area of concern as far as tornado threat is going to be in Pushmataha County, moving towards the northeast. Heavy rainfall again. If it's on the ground, it's rain wrapped, so don't go looking for it. This is a heavy rainfall associated with this. And again, if you weren't aware, the tornado watch, which was issued a little bit around, I think around 10:30 this morning, around 10 o'clock, that has been extended till 5 o'clock this evening. That's coming off of the severe thunderstorm watch that we had earlier today, which originally went to 8 a.m. and then it got extended to 10 a.m. And we knew past daylight things were going to start to ramp up and prove to do so. So that's why that tornado watch was issued for the area. And it does appear that they are issuing another warning for Pushmataha County. That is going to be covering our bases here as far as the original area of rotation. But remember, I was saying that there's got to be a second one. There's got to be a second one. Yeah, that's right there, right over Snow, Oklahoma. And there's 271. Sardis Lake is right on the cusp there. I don't necessarily think they have too much to worry about as far as rotation. But Christine, if you want to read the new information on the newly issued tornado warning.
Yeah, so newly issued tornado warning for Pushmataha County. This goes until 12:30, so a little over 30 minutes here, and it's a radar indicated tornado. So that means that there's no eyes on this circulation or no eyes of the tornado on the ground as of yet. And so this radar indicated moving northeast at 30 miles per hour, so picking up a little bit of speed. And the circulation was located about 5 miles west of Cloudy, and that's moving northeast, like I said. So definitely need to get to your safe spot. And if you're in Snow, if you're in Neshoba, you need to get to your safe spot immediately. And that's kind of the information with this warning. So we'll be tracking National Weather Service to see if there's any eyes on this storm that can maybe spot a lowering or spot anything that will indicate that this tornado is confirmed and on the ground.
Yeah, so we are going to keep watching again, like Christine said, no ground confirmation here, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's not one on the ground, right? We're not going to have a lot of people out on the roads today, and ideally so, because the water is just so bad. Let's zoom out and I get a big picture here. I have some folks asking about the Texas side of things here, so we'll put radar reflectivity back on. If you are anywhere west of this main line, so if you are west of Pushmataha County, McCurtain County, Lamar County, well, I would say Fannin County, you really don't have much to worry about right now. If we have more storms develop along boundary this afternoon, that's when we're going to be watching another potential for tornadoes. But DFW right now, it's primarily flooding. That's the biggest threat for most of the areas. Heavy rainfall. We've seen rates. I mean, radar estimated at one point was at 7 inches an hour. So that's a lot of water and a span of little to no time there. So it looks like the original tornado warning, which was for Cloudy, Oklahoma, has been allowed to expire, but I believe this new one does cover Cloudy, Oklahoma as well, as this is moving northeast. This is going to be heading out of our area. This is heading towards LaFleur County, Latimer County. So if you have folks there, make sure they are aware, because that's going to cross over, and that is going to be out of our jurisdiction there. So we'll keep tabs. But Snow, Cloudy, and Neshoba, those are our main cities here in Pushmataha County that are seeing the potential for tornadoes. Let's pull up shear rate and see what it's looking like. I don't necessarily think we've had too much shear. Again, it's not crazy, but there's definitely some spin there. That's right around Cloudy, and even just west of Snow with the original area of circulation that wasn't warned, that I was kind of looking at, that showed to be true, at least a little bit, with that wind shear. What is wind shear? Well, let's talk about it. Wind shear, what do you need with a tornado? Well, tornado is spinning, it's circulation, so you need turning of winds to get that rotation going. Wind shear is a way to estimate that. So in kind of different ways, it can be a change in wind direction, with height. You know, you have a south wind here at the surface, or maybe a southeast wind. And then up in the upper levels of the atmosphere, maybe it's a more westerly wind. That allows a little bit of spin. And then also it can be the increase of wind speed with height. We've seen how fast these clouds have moved this week. The upper level jet stream has very strong winds. So we know we have increasing wind speeds with height there. So we have the shear. It is present. And honestly, interestingly enough, that was actually with the Choctaw tornado warning there. That was the best shear rate we've had, and it was kind of coming out of Bryan County. I don't even think that was part of the original warning. I think that was more so towards the southern edge of Bryan County. But we have spin. We know we have shear in the atmosphere today. We have a little bit of energy. Let's maybe if you can, Christine, let's pull up temperatures. I was looking at that a little bit earlier, and you can kind of see with temperatures who is in the clear and who's kind of still needing to keep an eye on things, which we know Pushmataha County is. They are cooling down now that the rain is pushing through. It's not quite done. The main line is not yet out. But look at these temperatures. We're in the 50s. We're at 59 degrees in Tishomingo, 58 in Sulphur. We were at 71 degrees this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. So these temperatures have come down quite a bit. But look where we aren't cool. 75 near Broken Bow, Idabel, 70 in Tallahena. There's a lot of moisture. I mean, there's moisture really in the entirety of Texoma, but that warmer air, that's still some energy to tap into. And we didn't have the initial widespread rain that we kind of anticipated around midnight yesterday. Data was suggesting that tonight we were going to have round one, which was going to kind of cover the entire area. We had storms, but it wasn't widespread. Most of the area was dry, especially in the areas that are seeing tornadoes right now, or at least tornado warnings. That matches up completely with the boundary and the untapped energy that we haven't tapped into yet. Now we're really getting going. So if you're in the 50s and 60s, I think you're going to be just fine as far as the tornado threat is concerned. So tornado watch till 5 o'clock. If you just want to touch base on that really quick, Christine.
Here's that updated graphic for that tornado watch that goes until 5 o'clock this evening. And as you can tell from this map and from the last current temperatures map, all of those locations that are in the 70s, prime atmosphere for tornado potential, and even some along that boundary near Pushmataha, Choctaw down to Fannin up to Pittsburgh, they're still in that tornado watch. So out ahead of that line, out ahead of that boundary where, like I said, where temperatures are in the 70s, dew points are probably in the 60s, maybe show you that here in a minute, but it is prime for tornado activity, for tornadic storms, and that's why that watch goes until 5 o'clock tonight. That front is going to really slow down as it pushes off to the east and northeast. So McCurtain County, Choctaw County, Pushmataha, Latimer, Red River, Lamar, Fannin, and Pittsburgh County all under that tornado watch until 5 o'clock this evening.
All right, yeah, so we are kind of on our toes today, keeping tabs. Now, whether or not the threat will actually go until 5 o'clock today, well, that's all dependent on what the atmosphere does, because what's triggering these storms is going to be that boundary that's pushing through. So it's stalling out. Christine, if you want to talk about some of these dew points that we're looking at.
Yeah, so these are what I was mentioning earlier out in southeastern Oklahoma. I'll show you a zoomed in look just at Texoma here. 68 degrees for Idabel, 67 for Broken Bow. That is in the humid category between 65 to 70. It's very humid out there. It's very prime for storms. This humidity is acting as fuel for storms to get going. So that's what we need. And then you can notice out on along I-35, dew points are in the 50s. 57 for Sulphur, 57 for Tishomingo. Not really good for tornadoes, and that's a good thing. That means the tornado threat along I-35 is over now. But now we're looking towards the east, where it's a prime atmosphere. It's very juiced up. And so, yeah, that's what I can show you too, maybe that boundary with current wind gusts here, maybe wind speeds, if I can find that for you here. You can see that winds are still from the south, out in southeastern Oklahoma. So you can tell in Idabel and Broken Bow and Antlers and Hugo and Paris, winds are still out of the south and kind of the southeast. That shows that cold front earlier today, but those wind gusts still out of the south in portions of southeastern Oklahoma. So that's also going to play a factor.
Oh yeah, and that south wind, what it's doing is just transporting more of the warm air and the humid air. If we go back to radar here, I just want to touch base on the cloudy area for Pushmataha County with that warning. We're getting word for some viewers that a lot of campers, hunters, and residents in the Little River Ranch community around there. So we'll keep tabs on those folks. If maybe you can see just slightly. I mean, you can really see it with every area area of circulation, even on radar reflectivity. If you watch close, you can just see that little bit of spin. It may not be much, but there's definitely some spin there coming out of snow and in Neshoba. Here's cloudy. I think cloudy is mostly out of the main area of circulation. If we want to pull up velocity just to get a quick look here. And again, this warning goes, look, again, it still looks like there's two. Here's that one and there's that one. Yeah, there's definitely two areas of rotation. Now one just, if not northern cloudy, it's definitely north of cloudy, if not in cloudy. And then that's Snow, Oklahoma, just north of Snow, Oklahoma there. There's Sardis Lake. Not really overly concerned about Sardis Lake right now, but there's two areas of rotation here moving towards the northeast, both of which could impact the city of Neshoba and downstream towards 271 there. There's State Highway 2. Part of that will link into 271, and that will be part of that tornado-warned storm that is in effect until 12:30 today. So that has been the main concern since around 10:30. It was really like, not that it happened out of nowhere, because we knew what to expect. We knew there was going to be storm potential and tornado potential today, but man, it hit 10 o'clock in the morning and it was like clockwork. Spin-ups just right around the leading edge there, and we were kind of just playing the waiting game. We at some point anticipated we were going to be wall to wall and tracking possible areas of rotation, and yeah, it proved to be true. Tornado warning again for Pushmataha County for folks just now joining us for your lunch hour, 12:08. If you have friends and family that like to go out for lunch and they're in this area, tell them to stay put. It is not the time during a warning to leave. That is the time to make best with where you are. Find the best place possible and what you've got, because getting out and getting into the storm to go somewhere else for shelter is not necessarily the best thing to do. You don't want to be on the roads, because then you may potentially be driving in it, and you don't want to be in a car when a tornado or possible tornado is on the ground there. Christine, how fast are these moving? I know the previous warning we had earlier was around 35 miles an hour. We can maybe track this out with the squall line tool, not the cone. I think the cone doesn't show us as many cities, and since we have two areas of rotation, let's see. We may not get a lot of areas or businesses or cities populating on the timeline, but we're going to try it out and see what we can't see downstream for this. This is going to be moving northeast into Latimer and LaFleur County here. That is going to be north of McCurtain County. McCurtain County right now, there's no huge concern for rotation. Again, I'm not super hopeful. Okay, there we go. If you want to read some of those off, Christine, that would be great. Yeah, this tornado, potentially tornado circulations, and then that warning moving at about 30 miles per hour. Here's a look at those times. Pushmataha County, 12:14, well, now really, and Game Refuge, oh, that's Pushmataha County State Game Refuge, 12:14, Neshoba, 12:25, the Bear Den at 12:37, the Ranch, 12:40, the Ranch Restaurant at Talamichi, 12:45, Kiamichi Mountains, 12:56, Talahina, 1:05, and then LaFleur, 1:23 this afternoon. Perfect. And some of those locations you'll notice are not in our area. You know, LaFleur County is going to be just north of McCurtain County, so kind of out of our jurisdiction. That's when Shreveport and the National Weather Service and Tulsa broadcast stations will kind of take that one over for you as that's moving northeast. But overall, this is moving at around, you said 30 miles an hour towards the northeast. So it's not the fastest moving storm, but it is still moving, which is the point here. So any kind of stalled boundary, which we're hoping it really doesn't stall too much over our area, if it can be just south of us, that would be great. It would diminish our threat for the afternoon. But it looks like they maybe went ahead and issued a downstream severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag for Latimer, LaFleur County, and the remainder of Pushmataha County, and maybe even, I don't know, I think McCurtain County's severe thunderstorm warning is just for that, but hey, I would say tornado is going to be possible with really any storm that is severe warned for you today. So just be mindful of that if there's storms in your area. But I know it's raining pretty much everywhere, so not everybody needs to be concerned with the tornado potential as of right now. The main areas: Pittsburgh, Pushmataha, Choctaw, Lamar, and McCurtain County. I do think for the time being, Pittsburgh County is in the clear for any rotation. If we want to zoom out, and it also looks like they're maybe weakening a little bit, that would be great. Did they cancel the tornado warning there? Maybe. Well, it looks like they maybe did. I said, what time? It's 12:11. So the original warning till 12:30. So they may have lifted that warning. We're gonna. They said the circulation in Pushmataha County is weakened.
they said they may cancel the warning.
Okay,
so
it looks like they
did.
did. Yeah, it looks like they did, but there is still tornado possible tags with some of these severe thunderstorm warnings. That extends from Latimer, which is just out of our area, Pushmataha County, and into portions of McCurtain County here. So still maybe some broad rotation, but it's definitely, Christy, before we hop off the air, let's stair step this backwards a little bit and show the viewers here what we're talking about, how it doesn't look as good. You see that couplet there? Looks a little bit more put together, and then as we progress, it still kind of holds its own as it goes through southern Pushmataha County. You can see the bright colors, the strong winds there associated with it. Goes right over, in between snow and cloudy, and it looked really good about a couple of scans ago, but now it's really starting to kind of flatten out, which may be taking over, and there's still maybe some upper level circulation, but as far as to the ground rotation, we may be starting to see that drop off. So with that being said, we will hop off the air and get you back to local programming. And of course, if things go tornadic again, we'll be right back on your screens on social and of course our live streams as well. So we thank you for tuning in. Tornado watch for Pushmataha, Pittsburgh, Choctaw, McCurtain, Lamar and Fannin County until 5 p.m. today. So if you're in those counties, please make sure you are staying weather aware. For everybody else in Texoma, it is a flooding threat today. High waters will be a big concern. Do not get on the roads if you don't have to. If there's standing water, even if there's standing running water, please do not drive through it. You know the saying, turn around, don't drown. Better to be safe than sorry on a day like today. So we'll keep tabs on this for you, but for now, we're going to get you back to local programming.